Oh.
Fight for Iowa. Let every loyal Iowan.
Hello and welcome to Sports Opinion, the weekly sports talk show on Channel 18, Public Access TV. My name is Dirk Keller. This is Bob Boyd. That's Pat White. And this here is Earl the Pearl Murphy.
That's it.
Behind the camera, behind the lights, it's Joe Murphy. We want to thank him because without him, this show doesn't exist.
I don't talk too much, but Dirk does.
I do. I do.
He's the C.
Oh, he's the moderator.
That's right.
That's right.
I got to keep it rolling.
Keep
Keep
right.
things moving.
Somebody's got to keep this rolling.
I was so excited for this show today that I forgot to put a belt on. I don't have a belt. I hate doing
I
that.
noticed that.
Yeah, did you see that?
I was going to talk to you about it. But, I didn't want to embarrass you.
That'll get you. Bob's blind.
It is February 1st. It is my mother's birthday.
Oh.
Let's give her a call.
It's also my daughter's 16th birthday out of Iowa
Wow.
City. She's driving.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And she drives scared. But more importantly, at least to Hawkeye fans everywhere, it is National Signing Day, the National Letter of Intent Signing Day for college football. I just, before I came here, ran into Larry Wazorek, the UI track coach.
Yeah.
It's also signing day for him. And
Oh, it
he's
is?
he's waiting for some kids to fax their sign. He got a few. He mentioned there's a kid from Waverly Shell Rock that he got that's a distance runner. He got a real good runner from Missouri. He's waiting on a couple of other kids. So it's a real exciting day. It's kind of national news everywhere because the destination of a lot of these high school kids has been, on people's minds for quite a while.
Yeah.
And of course, here in Iowa City, we're no different. It's a big deal. As usual, with signing day, there were some surprises. There were some appointments for Iowa. We tape this show at noon on Wednesday every week, so there will be some information that comes out after we tape this show that we don't know about yet. But we do have a list and a breakdown of all the kids who have committed. We've got some information on those who decommitted, if you will. So without further ado, why don't we get into the signing part first?
Let's go for it.
Do that. Okay. Well, first off, there's a kid that everybody's waiting for. His name is Alex Kozan. Big offensive lineman from Colorado, had narrowed down his list to Iowa and
Michigan and Auburn.
Well, he verbally committed Sunday night to the Iowa coaches.
Yes.
Last night he indicated that he's not sure. And indications are this morning that he's going to sign with Auburn. He hasn't signed with anybody as of 12 noon today.
That'll give us another reason to dislike Gene Chizik.
Yep. Yep, as if we
Yeah.
needed any more reasons to dislike the former Iowa State short-time coach.
We know they'd play things straight down there in the Southeast Conference,
sure.
don't we?
Sure, especially at Auburn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cam Newton, huh?
And, if you're a kid like Kozan, or maybe even more importantly, his parents, I hope they realize that Auburn and all these SEC schools sign recruits every year. And they churn through kids. Now, Iowa's had a lot of decommitments, if you will, kids that have left once they've come here. But Iowa and Big Ten schools don't practice over-signing. That means they sign more high school seniors and maybe junior college transfers than they have available scholarships. They do this, and then they just blow out kids that are on scholarship. Here at Iowa, they honor a 4-year commitment. Mm-hmm. At the SEC schools, it is a 1-year deal.
Well, Alabama and LSU do the same thing.
Oh,
essentially.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, it's a pretty healthy list.
He hasn't signed yet?
He has not. Not as a. And I just placed a phone call before we went on the air with Tom Kakert from HawkeyeReport.com, and nothing yet from Mr. Kozan. Mm-hmm. There were a couple of surprises today, good surprises.
Is there any more like Kozad or not?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just one.
He's the lone holdout right now. They've been
good.
hoping that this kid named Curry from Texas, big lineman, would commit to Iowa. It was between us and Nebraska, and he ended up signing with Nebraska today, thanks to Rick Kaczynski, the former Iowa line coach who left just before the bowl game.
I think they kind of suspected that was going to happen, don't you?
They did.
Yeah.
A lot of people that were holding out hope for that one.
I thought Ott might sign with him.
Well, that was a possibility. But still, I want to point out that this recruiting class has been ranked as the 3rd or 4th best in the Big Ten.
That's good.
That is real good. When you know Ohio State's always going to be on top, Michigan's always going to be right there with them, and they are. Iowa is ranked with this class of recruits 3rd or 4th, depending on who you talk to, in the Big Ten.
Yeah, when you beat Penn State, if we did, that's something.
Yep.
That'll be a little easier this year, Murph, because of their problems.
Yeah,
And to give you a little bit of perspective, Wisconsin, defending Big Ten champ, their recruiting class ranks behind Indiana.
What happened?
A lot of coaches left.
Oh, true.
They lost, I think, 5 coaches.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, they got some issues.
Makes you feel bad.
When do
doesn't
we
it?
pick up Wisconsin and Ohio State on the schedule? Anybody know?
Well, no, I don't. And now that the Big Ten has this agreement with the Pac-10,
Right.
the Big Ten has done a U-turn on going to 9 conference games. So going to 9 conference games gave us a chance to get Wisconsin not every year, but much more regularly than we do under the current system. And so we're apparently back to 8 Big Ten games, and probably we'll see Wisconsin only once every 6, 7, or 8 years.
Wow.
And that's just wrong.
That's a shame.
That's a shame.
Why are we playing Pac-12 schools, Pac-10, whatever?
I don't understand that agreement.
It's about money.
Every time we go west of the last 10 years, Kirk complains, and I understand his complaint.
Travel's horrendous.
We get home at a horror. The travel is
Yeah.
a long distance. We don't recruit out there. He has always seemed to want to play Eastern teams, and here the conference now has taken that away from him and has us matched up with Pac-12 teams starting, I think, in 2017.
What's the logic to that? I mean, is it because they think the Big Ten network, the exposure will pull more kids or recruits from? I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Here's
money.
my take
Justified.
on it is it's gotten so expensive to fill your schedule. All the Division I schools want 7 home games, and even finding a home-and-home series with another Division I school has gotten to be more difficult to find open dates. Like we've been playing home-and-homes with Pittsburgh, and we played one with Arizona and one with Arizona State. Syracuse. This guarantees a Division I opponent, and it'll be easy for the conferences to match up teams so that they have their home one year and on the road the next. And the Pac-12, I said Pac-10, it's now the Pac-12, also is developing their own network, and so the TV coverage for that game will be almost nationwide.
True.
Well, I think it just went to money. Saves scheduling headaches, saves a little money. But for us, I think it's a losing proposition. Gary will try to put the best face on it he can, and Kirk will be the good soldier and not criticize it. But
Yeah, I don't like it a bit.
Well, and then we were paying these other schools to come in,
Paying them $1 million.
$1 million, $900,000, holding you up for ransom.
you know,
To get
that's actually crept into basketball now.
Yeah.
We paid Boise State to come here and play a basketball game this year. We paid them $80,000.
I need to get a basketball team together.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to go to a basketball game?
$25.
Is
It varies depending on the
25.
weekday, weekend. I see for tonight's game against Minnesota, their adult tickets, I think, are 20 and youth tickets are 10.
Yeah.
But this weekend against Penn State, I think, is 25.
Is it?
25 and 15 for youth, I think.
Saturday game, yeah.
That's right. So, well, back to recruiting. We've got some
Okay.
names to talk about.
Did we lose anybody else?
No,
Okay. That's,
Good,
No.
good.
We
So-
haven't lost Roseanne, have we?
not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So far. Yeah.
Not at 12:15 today. Let's just go across the table here.
You know, one of the things that will be interesting, Kozan is reputed to be pretty darn good,
Yeah.
but Kirk, like we had an example of this junior college linebacker who went to visit North Carolina State
Yeah.
and then seemed surprised when Kirk pulled the scholarship offer. But that's when you get down to the wire like this and you've got slots to fill, you can't gamble on somebody going down to visit North Carolina State and taking up a spot that you need an athlete for.
And
That's
doing it
right.
on the last weekend
Right.
before signing
Yeah.
So,
period.
And I guess this kid's a little bitter. He's expressed a little bitterness that
what I
Iowa pulled the offer.
was going to suggest is it'll be interesting to me as the day proceeds, where, as Dirk
Yes,
says, we're at noon now, whether we have a backup signee to Kozan. If his letter of
Yeah.
intent doesn't arrive by 2 o'clock, do we have somebody else who he's going to extend an offer to at the last minute?
Will be interesting.
Yeah, but they do.
Or you can always give it to a walk-on who's here without a scholarship.
Yeah.
right.
I'm glad that this Hill's coming to Iowa. He signed on.
Yep.
No, he didn't sign, but he said.
Barkley Hill,
Yeah.
6 foot, 190-pound running back
I'm
from
delighted.
Cedar Falls
Well,
Yeah.
today he
High
did
School.
sign.
Yeah, he's here.
He signed as of today.
Here's who's on board.
Okay.
Maurice Fleming, a 6 foot 1 inch, 100-pound defensive back from Chicago Curie High School.
Goes by it likes to be called Reese.
Reese, that's right. Reese Fleming.
And he was an early commit.
Is he the quarterback?
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
he plays quarterback
did
on
you
say-
offense, but he's
Yeah.
expected to play cornerback
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
He must be
But
intelligent.
he was an early commit
Yeah.
who has helped in trying to recruit some of his acquaintances in the Chicago area.
Good.
And I think successfully.
Yep.
Good.
Well, another area kid that we got, a 4-star recruit, is Faith Ekakiti, 6 foot 2, 250-pound defensive end from Lake Forest, Illinois, and that's Lake Forest Academy High School.
He's that solid.
This is a kid that they needed, they got, and looked to be an anchor on the defensive line.
He's another Roth.
Well, let's hope, or another. Well, who knows?
And a 4-star.
Yeah, and a 4.
Hey, there's these stars. How many 5-stars are there?
Good question. I still don't have an answer, but I do know that
I counted last night. There, I had the Iowa recruits, and they put up a 4-star. I mean, if we didn't get any 5-stars.
no.
All right,
I don't know that we've ever had a
but
5-star.
I can count 30 altogether.
Okay. Ohio State got
Nationwide?
4 of them.
What?
Nationwide,
Yeah.
is that all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ohio State, I don't know this young man, but they lost one of their top-notch recruits last night. They had one got
Rape
arrested
charges.
for rape, and they
Oh, boy.
pulled the scholarship offer.
Well, one guy that the Hawkeyes reeled in is named Jaleel Johnson. This is a kid who was having a hard time making up his mind between Michigan State and Iowa. He came here a week ago for a visit, and then was thinking of going to Michigan State last weekend, the final weekend of visits allowed. and instead didn't go and backed up his verbal commitment with a signature today. Jaleel Johnson is a 6'2", 277-pound defensive tackle from Lombard, Illinois, and Montini High School.
And that's before he's gotten in Chris Doyle's program.
That's right. He is also a 4-star recruit.
Chris won't make him taller, but I bet he gets him to 300 pounds.
You can't tell.
Jaleel Johnson. The other 4-star.
Wait a second. Where's your growth finally end? It varies from person to person.
Your height?
Yeah, the height especially.
I think it varies from person to person. Yeah. Normally, high school is about the end of it.
Yeah.
There are people, this young man who we've apparently offered a basketball scholarship to, who's now right at 6'9". They are projecting is going to be 6'11". He's only a sophomore at Dubuque Senior.
Oh, Seth Boniface?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was in town last night.
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
And Fran was out to that game.
that's
What?
what I hear.
Yeah.
He could have been watching a couple West players, too.
And I think he was.
Jared Morgan
Yeah.
is
Morgan.
Yeah.
he's a talent.
I got to get out there to see them play. Another 4-star recruit, also from Illinois, is Ryan Ward. Ryan is 6 feet 6 inches tall, 270 pounds. Offensive lineman from New Lenox, Illinois, and that's Providence Catholic High School. Then Mitch Keppy. He, I think, was the very first verbal recruit. Mitch Keppy, and I believe his father played for the Hawkeyes back in my era.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Mitch is 6'5", 287 pounds, and he's an offensive lineman. He's a 3-star recruit. He's from Port Byron, Illinois, and Riverdale High School. Then from Michigan, Kevin Buford is a 5'10", 170-pound defensive back from Canton, Michigan. Reuben Lyle is a 6'3", 200-pound athlete from Cass Tech High School in Detroit.
Now there's a kid that could put on height and weight. It just sounds like it to me.
6'3", 200 pounds.
What are they projecting
That's
to
about what I
play?
am.
Projected as a safety.
Oh,
I bet he's a good one.
We need bigger safeties, and this is a good get right here.
Yeah.
The kid we have playing safety now is not too bad.
Who?
A kid from Wellman.
Tanner Miller.
Miller.
Clone.
Yeah.
He's what?
He's just
He's
a sophomore.
He's 6'2".
Is he that tall?
Yes.
I think they have him
He's
listed
good
up there.
size, yeah.
Yeah.
Also from Detroit, Cass Tech, the Hawkeyes got LaRon Taylor, who is a 6 foot, 205-pound linebacker. Rather small for a linebacker, but as Pat mentioned, Coach Chris Doyle, he'll get him beefed up.
Is he a coach?
LaRon, yeah,
Is he?
yeah. Strength and conditioning
Well, they treat him as a coordinator.
coordinator.
Yeah.
Okay, then the other 4-star recruit is Greg Garman. He is a 6 feet 2 inch, 195-pound running back from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Good.
Same town that produced Bob and Ed Hinkle, among others.
Javon Johnson.
Javon Johnson.
Good track record there in Erie.
Really
Greg
interesting
Garman.
story about Garmin this
Yeah.
week.
Oh, yeah?
Going through a cancer a couple of years ago and coming out healthy.
I didn't even know about that till I read it. Pat Hardy wrote that story. That
Wow.
was a good article.
Very
What
interesting.
kind of cancer, Pat? Do you remember?
Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma,
Okay.
which can be pretty.
Oh, yeah. I know somebody right now that's going through
Some
that.
young people make it and some do not.
I'll tell you what, it's going to toughen this kid and make a lot of other things in life seem not very insurmountable.
Yeah.
Greg Garman, he's the prize of
Is
this
he a
recruiting
4-star
class.
also?
He is. From Connecticut, the Hawkeyes got Tavon Smith, 6 foot 2, 186-pound wide receiver from Kent, Connecticut. And I think that's accurate. I don't know if that's accurate. Do you know?
That sounds right.
Did we get him? Did we end up getting him?
Well, he was on the list of verbals. I haven't seen a.
No official signing?
I'm just looking here. We got some timelines on.
Okay.
Interesting how times have changed. They all fax their letters of intent now. So the coaching staff probably knows by 10 in the morning who's on board and who's not, if any.
Well, from West Virginia, the Hawkeyes got Connor Cornbrath. Connor Cornbrath is a 6 feet 6 inch, 208-pound kicker. That's a big boy.
Yeah.
Long.
Yeah.
He's a long boy. From Bridgeport, West Virginia.
Now, is he a punter and a place kicker?
He's both.
Okay.
Projected primarily as a punter to start because we've really got 3 kickers
Yeah.
remaining, including Marshall Kane, who kicks well, for the young man from Solon who redshirted
Yes.
this year.
Yeah. Anxious to see him.
But this guy is projected as a punter.
Okay.
From the state of Tennessee, the Hawkeyes got quarterback C.J. Beathard. C.J. is 6 feet 2 inches tall, 180 pounds. This is a kid who committed to Mississippi and then decommitted and
Bobby
decided he
Beathard's
wants to be a Hawk.
grandkid.
The coaches.
Yeah. Excuse
There
me.
was a coaching change down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the state of Florida, Greg Mabin, 6 feet 2 inch, 190-pound wide receiver. He's a 3-star, as is C.J. Beathard, as is Connor Cornbrath, as is Tavon Smith. 3-star. Greg Mabin from Fort Lauderdale Calvary Christian Academy. And then they also, from Florida, got Demont Venkus, 6 feet 4 inch, 220-pound defensive end from Weston, Florida.
Now, didn't he come on late? I mean, were they? Is this the?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Okay.
That's a good question. From Ohio, Sean Draper, 6 feet, 165-pound defensive back from Cleveland, Glenville Academy. It's quite a football academy, quite frankly. And this kid is supposed to be real special. Great student, great personality. Sean Draper. He was a late commit. This is a kid that committed just this last weekend.
Okay.
In fact, I think just Monday or Tuesday of this week.
Now, who was recruiting him? You said he was a late commit. Was this because somebody else fell through, you think? or-
No. What I've read is that the longtime head coach at Glenville Academy want any of his kids committing early. He wants the other kids to get the exposure along with the headliners from Glenville Academy. So he just wasn't, there was no lean on him either way. And so,
Is that still Ted Ginn?
yes, that is correct. Also from Ohio, Cameron Wilson, a 6 foot 2 inch, 190-pound wide receiver from Dublin, Ohio, which is right there in home of Wendy's Hamburgers. Dublin, Ohio, Cameron Wilson. He's a 3-star, as is Sean Draper.
That Wendy's owner died, and he was a real good friend of Bump's.
Really?
Yeah, he.
Dave?
Dave, the owner.
Yes, Dave played golf with Bump a couple of times,
I'll be darned.
and Bump always he talked to him. He talked about him to me, and said he's just a great person. He died. I think his daughters were in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wendy.
Okay.
Dirk, one of the things that's of note about those receivers, we have talked before about the fact that we needed receivers. They've all got some height.
Yeah.
6'2",
Yeah.
6'3".
Real good point, Pat.
Three of them.
That's good. Yeah. That's right.
Thank Campbell for that.
Yeah. There isn't a single receiver on here under 6 feet tall. In fact, there's only one out of all these recruits that's under 6 feet tall, and that's Kevin Buford, the defensive back, who's 5 feet 10 inches.
You've got a linebacker at 6 foot.
Now, here's a kid that.
Here's comes up Flowers.
Oh, we got flowers. Got to push, Ted. Ted Supple,
Hey.
everybody, is here with our flowers.
Hi, Teddy.
Say hi,
Thank you,
Ted.
Yep.
Hi, Ted.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you.
Thanks to Supple's Flowers for our lovely. Boy, those almost. Ooh, they smell good too. Very nice from Supple's
yeah.
Flowers. Better late than never, we always say.
It's that stargazer down in the left corner there, left from our side.
Oh,
A stargazer.
Yeah, those have real fragrance. That one.
right here.
Yeah.
That's what I got my mom for her birthday
Yeah?
today. Yep,
How old is she today?
83.
Good for her.
She's over in Indianapolis with my sister and her family. They're taking in the Super Bowl stuff.
We were talking about Bump.
Yeah.
What?
And Dave, I'm drawing a blank on his last name. Dave.
Me too. Gosh,
Yeah, okay.
Dave.
he always did a lot of his own commercials.
But yesterday was his birthday.
Oh, really?
Bump.
Oh, Bumps.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you
Yeah.
mentioned that. Happy birthday to Bump Elliott. Doggone it.
Okay.
He's awful quiet about that.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Bump. That's pretty neat. Back to Hawkeye recruits. Anthony Morgan. We talked about him. He's our lone Texas recruit. In Iowa, we got 3 kids out of the state of Iowa. Barkley Hill, before, the all-state running back from Cedar Falls. He's 6 feet, 190 pounds. We also got
Is he
Nate
a
Meyer.
3-star?
Yes, 3-star. Nate Meyer is the 8-player football player from Fremont Hills High School in Tabor, Iowa. That's way over out west by Omaha, I think.
It is, almost to Nebraska.
Yeah. Nate Meyer is 6 feet 2 inches, 235 pounds. And he was a record-setting running back, and I think he owns the single-game rushing record in the state of Iowa, 500-some
And
yards.
touchdowns. He scored
And touchdowns?
10
Yeah.
in one
This-
game.
In a game? One game?
Yeah.
10?
Yeah.
Well,
Gee.
So he's got a full ride scholarship to come to Iowa, and I got to believe he's the last 8-man football player to get a full ride since,
They said it.
Greenwood?
Greenwood.
yeah.
It was quite. If you got a bad team, they were 8-man football, and they said that the game he scored 10 touchdowns was really a funny thing. He dragged people across the
Well,
goal
it'd be
line.
hard to get the ball that many times. wouldn't it?
6
my
feet
gosh.
2, 235
Oh,
pounds.
What would they play
I'm
him?
predicting he's going to end up as a fullback.
yes, that's what they say.
He was a linebacker also, and a pretty good one. I would look for him on special teams right away. And then, like Pat said, kid's got fullback written all over him.
Yeah.
Crushing type of fullback, too. The other Iowa kid is Eric Simmons, who is 6 feet 3, 305 pounds. He's an offensive lineman from Council Bluffs who signed early. He's already in school. He's a junior college kid from Iowa Western Community College. We also got a kid from Arizona, and this is the junior college quarterback, Cody Sokol. Cody is also enrolled this semester. He's 6 feet 3 inches, 210 pounds, from Scottsdale, Arizona. He's got some Iowa connections with family and such.
Born in Des Moines.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Is that a connection?
Yeah, it is.
I'm not going to talk about Alex Kozan, the 4-star offensive lineman from Colorado, because we just don't know. We'll see. The final kid is out of Nebraska. His name is Drew Ott. He is a 3-star recruit, 6 feet 4 inches tall, 235 pounds, defensive end from Giltner, Nebraska. Now, I know I said that's all, but actually there were a couple of surprises today, late morning surprises. And when I say surprises, I mean kids who were not on the radar that nobody knew Iowa was looking at.
Yeah.
A kid named Reed Sealby, Sealy. Reed Sealby is a Hawkeye. 6 feet 4, 255 pounds. Offensive, defensive lineman. He's also a long snapper, and he's from Byron, Illinois. Then, see, I mentioned Drew Ott, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then there was an interesting little situation just before I left the office and headed down here. Word came out that a cornerback from Florida named Denaro Ma, had tweeted and said he is signing with Iowa today. And everybody scrambled and said, who? He had decommitted from Minnesota, of all places. Nobody knew he was even looking at Iowa or vice versa. Well, turns out he had great issues, and he's not coming to the University of Iowa. He's coming to Ellsworth Community College to get his grades up. So there's no Denaro Moss. Thanks to Tom Suter from KCJJ Radio for updating me on that. because when I left the office, he was a hawk, Denaro Moss,
Yeah.
and he is not.
Well, if he's got the wrong school on the internet, he's probably not going to make it to Minnesota either.
Yeah,
No wonder he's got great problems.
So, okay.
Let's see.
35 goes quite a ways.
Yeah.
As of the time I left, come to the studio, they were still waiting for Kevin Buford, the defensive back from Canton, Michigan, to send in his paperwork, as well as Alex Kozan. Other than that, everybody's in, everybody's good. This is a very strong class. There's a lot of dynamite in this class. We have how many states represented here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 states.
How many signees?
I think 23, depending on Kozan. 23, maybe 24. That's quite a large class.
States right here.
Yeah. Yep.
Can't you count those?
Yeah, I did. I counted 13 states.
Okay.
It is a large class, but as we've talked the last few weeks,
Yeah.
Coker, McCall, Marcus Grant,
AJ
One other,
Derby.
AJ Derby.
Derby, 4 scholarship players that
Yeah.
left that we didn't really
You got to replace them,
count.
and you
Yeah.
got to replace them
Always
quick.
start.
And I think they did that. They addressed issues with the defensive and offensive line. They addressed issues with running back, with quarterback.
2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, very impressive. One junior college kid, quarterback. It's a big deal. And
Now, do we have how many 4 stars? 4?
4. That well,
3 stars, we have several more.
counting Alex Kozan, 4. 4
So right
stars.
now, 3.
Right now, 3. Again, we know from being old timers that these stars don't mean a whole.
Boy, not there's a heart. Not all of them have a heart.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And we've
Well, as
seen
Bernie
that.
Wyatt used to say, I'll tell you if they're really a 4-star in 4 years.
Yeah, that's how you judge them.
You know.
This is Kirk Ferent's top recruiting class on paper since 2007.
Well, that class didn't turn out too well.
Yeah, it is true. Didn't turn out too well at all.
So.
Some individuals did, but not.
Yeah.
What is it, the Army game?
Yeah. What do they call that?
What is that game?
The Army All Star.
U.S. Army All-American.
There we
That's
go.
that game.
That's it.
What? How many guys signed from
I
Iowa
4 or
that
5.
day? 3
They
or
were, I think they
4
were
of them or
5
something?
that,
5.
That day.
that day.
That was
Yeah.
Jake Christensen and crew and.
And he had a lineman that was just supposed to be great.
Richardson.
Yes.
Yeah, Dice Richardson.
Dice Richardson.
He had a lot of injury problems.
He
but
did.
He stuck
Tony
with it.
Moyaki,
Yeah.
Yep, that was a
That's
good
right.
one.
Ryan Bain.
Yeah. He didn't stick
He
around.
didn't
No.
stay long at all.
But
Who was the receiver that graduated last year from Ohio?
Durrell.
No.
Trey
Strauss?
Oh,
Trey
Trey
Strauss.
Strauss.
Yeah, he was in that class.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see what happens, but February 1st, signing day in soak it
Today.
in.
He started to work out.
How so?
All these players.
Oh.
Lots of promise.
Lots of it. And again, there's a reason that this class is ranked in the top 3 or 4 of the Big Ten. It's top 30 in the country. Again, pretty remarkable for a little state like Iowa and the smallest public institution in the Big Ten. That's pretty remarkable. And on top of that, we know Kirk and his staff have a way of building these kids up, taking the 2 and 3 stars and turning them into somebody.
Yeah.
Time we met, they talked about our offensive coordinator going to someplace else.
Miami?
Yeah, NFL. I haven't heard another word about that.
No.
I haven't heard another word about the defensive coordinator's position, other than rumor. And
Pretty strong rumor out there.
Kirk is
Yeah.
certainly going to get asked today. I mean, he's holding a press conference at 4 o'clock to ostensibly to talk about the recruiting class, but surely there aren't going to be reporters who go into that room who aren't going to tell him about the coordinator and the coaching staff.
well, it's time to answer. You've got your recruits. We've been waiting for a month and a half to find
Well,
out who's going to coach these kids.
Isn't there a rumor out there that maybe somebody that may be interested is on the defensive staff of the New York Giants and waiting for the Super Bowl to be over?
Is it Brad Herman? It's
Herman.
Herman. Herman, yeah. And what I've read about him is that he has very similar characteristics and philosophies that Coach Norm Parker had.
Wasn't he at Michigan?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Bend, don't break. Give up a lot of little yards underneath. Don't give up the big plays as easily.
Well, that's just one of the rumors, I guess.
That
out
is.
there, but who knows?
And they're in the
right?
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I assume all of you are going to watch the Super Bowl Sunday?
Can you say
Well,
Super Bowl?
We can say
We just did.
Come after us.
Well, yeah,
NFL.
come on, come and get us.
Bring it.
Bring it. Sue us.
Better eat your Wheaties,
Say
though.
The headline in the paper this morning, I read the article, and I said, I gotta read it again. It's about speeds.
What, you
What
didn't
was
learn
it?
it. You didn't learn a thing new.
No.
What
but
paper was this in?
Well, about
It
what?
was the
sir?
headline story in the
Oh,
press.
Leon
Citizen.
Spees.
Spees
Yeah.
involved, and
I read the thing and I said, what's?
it was everything we
Yeah.
already knew, just regurgitated.
Yeah.
Leon says, I can't talk about it. And it was
I mean, we
10
knew he'd been
pages.
involved
Yeah.
because he was talking.
Yeah.
For
The front page of the paper, not the sports section, the front page. I'm
It was
thinking,
just-
holy cow.
Ridiculous.
I said, man, we're gonna find out what he's talking about here.
Why don't these reporters get a hold of Coker? And that's where that's the only person, other than his family, who's going to tell us anything. So,
Yeah, I think he's done talking.
I think he is too.
Yeah, yeah.
Marcus
No more-
Coker
no more
has
talking.
signed up at Stony Brook College out east, close to home, where he grew up.
They have a little emphasis on football now.
Yeah. I think it's
Stony
interesting he went there, and I wonder if he's planning to stay there.
Well, it's close to home.
Yeah.
I wonder too.
Well, he can go from that school to a Division I school.
He can, but he'd only have 1 year to play at a Division I school.
No.
Yeah.
If he
because
left after this
he's
semester,
played 2. He's going to play another one at Stony Brook. So he's
not if he just stays this semester
And enroll somewhere else next
and
fall.
enroll somewhere else next summer or fall. Yeah. That's what I wondered.
Yeah, I think if he plays this fall, he's. well,
Yeah, if he
it's
plays
only
this
1
fall,
year.
he's got 1 year left.
That's right.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll see. I wish him the best of luck.
Yeah,
Sure.
more power to it.
I got to believe he's
Yeah.
going to tear it up out there at the
Oh,
smaller
boy.
college
Well, I
level.
would guess he would.
Yeah,
Yep.
probably 2,000-yard season.
Well, besides football, there's a whole lot of other sports getting it. We know the Super Bowl is Sunday at 5:30. I think it's kickoff.
5:30, yes.
Say, we ought to give the swimming team a plug. Both the men's and women's, they're coming up with that new building.
Yeah.
They said, and thank God, swimming is really improving, and I think that's just great.
Have you ever been in that new building?
No, I
Earl?
haven't.
I haven't either. Bob,
Have you been?
I've not.
You haven't either?
No.
Wow.
Everybody I talked to, though, that's been in it is pretty impressed. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
Well, especially the
Very nice.
natatorium, I'm
Yeah.
told. The
Yeah.
swimming area, diving area is really impressive. I haven't been there, though, and I'm embarrassed to say that. I drive by it at least 2 times every day,
Yeah.
usually 4 or 5. Very busy place.
Parking is an issue.
That's,
that's
a
right.
big issue.
If you're on campus, it's easy to walk to. If you're not, it's a little tough.
It's a pain.
But I'm glad to see them finally get their due, because they were recruiting to a
oh, yeah. That old
pond
field
of
house.
water that was leaking, so.
Yeah. You know, I love that old field house
I do
swimming
too.
pool. When I first came to school here, I grew up on a swim team. I saw that pool and I thought, wow, this is bigger than anything I've ever swum
Yeah,
in.
Yeah.
the biggest in the world.
I swam in state meets and I'd never seen anything like the Hawkeye pool, but time flies.
I ran an indoor state track at the field house.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
When they had dirt
Third
inside
floor,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Around the basketball court.
I remember Darryl Brown telling me that, and I didn't believe him. No, they didn't have dirt in here. He said,
Yes, they
"Boy,
did."
why do you think they call it the field house?"
Yeah, good point.
And then he'd say, "I don't chew my cud twice, boy." All right, let's talk about basketball. The Hawkeye men's team lost another game at Indiana. That's 3 in a row. That was last Sunday after losing at home to Nebraska.
Boy, those statistics, I mean, offensively.
It's unbelievable.
Wow,
Yeah.
to shoot that well
Shoot
and to
that well.
get beat by
Yep.
14 points, 103 to 89. And
Did they shoot 70%, the Hawkeyes, in the second
68
half?
for the
80,
game. They
80
shoot-
in the second half.
Yeah.
68 for
80%
the
in
game.
the second half.
Yeah.
nearly 70% shooting for the whole game, and lost. Scored 89 points and lost.
Matador
Big.
defense.
Hey,
Well, it was
yeah.
odd. We trying to help. They just kept creeping out, and Settler kept getting behind him. I talked to somebody who's not from Iowa who saw highlights of the game, and his first reaction was, "Well, why are they showing the same highlight over and over and over?" And then he finally realized, no, that wasn't over and over. It was all different dunks.
What did the guy have? 5 dunks? Or
7.
7? Oh my God.
Yes.
I have a nephew who goes to IU, and my mother is over there in Indianapolis right now, and I talked to her and my sister and my brother-in-law this morning, and they all said the same thing. What happened to Iowa? Because we were doing so well the last time they looked.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I didn't know how to explain it.
We were in the game till halfway through the first half.
Oh, yeah.
They blew it away.
Yeah,
Blew it open.
with 6 minutes to go,
1 point game.
Indiana went on a run, and they outscored us 20-6. The rest
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
after 6 minutes.
It was just god awful, and I don't know how these kids can get to this level of play and not be able to conduct a defensive effort.
Well, we just don't have a post presence. It was one of the things that was interesting, and it will be tonight against Minnesota to see what happens with Olaseni. He got more playing time all year. I think he was at 8 or 9 minutes, and he didn't do anything that was outstanding to the eye, but he certainly came in for praise.
He was a presence.
Fran after the game. He was that. And so it'll be interesting to me to see whether he gets the same sort of minutes tonight against Minnesota, which has height too. I mean, Ralph Sampson III is, if he's on his game,
Yeah, I was going to say,
is probably not nearly as good as his dad was. But
no.
You bring up a good point. Height and lack of it. We just don't match up well enough with a lot of Big Ten teams because of that lack of a big man, a true big man.
Right.
One of the things we saw different against Indiana was that Eric May and Melson Basabe did not start.
And that had to happen.
Yes, it did. Now, Eric May, we learned on Monday at the quarterback club, is injured. He's got more with his back.
Well, and Fran acknowledged that Monday night on his radio show as well. So it's pretty public record now. I mean, I assume there's some sort of scouting system that feeds that information to opponents.
And Melson Basabe has also been suffering. I don't know if it's a leg injury or a groin injury. I can't remember which, but he's just not the same player.
He's suffering from a lack of effort.
I think so.
I'll tell you what, I wonder if he'll even be around next year. He's getting pretty frustrated, but if we look at our defensive shortcomings, I mean, we have Woodbury, this 7'1" center, recruited and coming in next year. That's going to change a lot of things, I think.
And we learned
Because the
something
big men we
else.
have now are just not doing the job.
No, and
But, you know, part of why this is so strange is Basabe played the 5 last year against bigger people.
Yes, he did.
And held his own. He more than held his own. He was
first team all
very
Big
good.
Ten freshman.
I mean, he averaged 11 points and something like close to 7 rebounds. That was pretty impressive for what he was going against. And
White is not.
what happened this year, I don't know.
Aaron White is very good, but he's not a center. I mean,
Yeah, but
they
it's
put him in the
6'9".
starting lineup at the 5 position in Basabe's place. He's going to be much better if he's playing 4 or even 3.
3 or 4.
But, I mean, he's a trooper and he's a good ball player.
He can
Yes.
take Giggins' place.
We have some,
But he,
I don't know.
Probably not.
I think we need him closer to the basket.
Yeah. He does his most damage close to the basket. Those
he does it
putback
all over.
rebounds.
He does. He can hit the 3,
all over.
Yeah.
but I think 3 or 4 is probably the best positions for him.
Well, on Monday at the quarterback club luncheon, we learned from Coach Spiraw that one of the recruits coming in is from Indiana,
Ingram.
and this kid is a lockdown defender. He used a word to junkyard dog.
One of the things that was a real surprise is Kirk somebody asked about him, and he said, well, we could have used him in the lineup. He was sitting behind the bench.
Yeah.
We could have used him on the floor.
And-
He thinks that highly of his defense.
And I think that points out maybe our biggest flaw as a basketball team is our inability at the point on defense to stop the initial penalty. Bryce Cartwright can't do it. And quite frankly, Devin Marble can't do it either. He's longer, but he can't do it. Pat?
Well, Cartwright, I don't know, something's changed about Cartwright. He was terrific last year. Led the Big
Yeah,
Ten
that's
in
right.
assists. He just doesn't seem to have the same energy. I don't know if there's something health-wise that's.
Well, he was hurt in December, wasn't he?
I think he's had a variety of ailments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He was hurt, but he's better.
He just doesn't have the quickness this either on defense or offense.
Boy, if we could get Cartwright and Melson Basabi to kick it in here this last 10 games, that would change a lot of things.
Big difference maker.
Oh, yeah, just not happening at this point.
Well, this is the time of year when they have to turn it around. You've
Yeah.
got teams that you should, or at least could beat. Teams like Minnesota, a team on Saturday like Penn State. These are teams you should beat.
Yeah, you should.
Period.
Although I was surprised last night to beat Wisconsin, or Wisconsin beat Penn State,
Barely.
rather.
But wasn't that like 50-point game?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens
Yeah, it
to
was low
Iowa.
scoring.
When we don't shoot well, we're capable of that, 50 points. You know, but
And Minnesota's
run-
better than when we beat them up there.
We
Yes.
run with,
They're on was it 4 or 5 games in a row they've won?
No, it's 3 out of 4, I think. Let me
That's
tell you.
Wisconsin that's won.
well, then you look at a game last night like Michigan State and Illinois wins at 42-40, and they both played ugly.
Yeah, they
I mean,
did.
I don't know what the shooting percentage ended up to be, but they both had to be 30%.
our shooting is not bad.
Oh, it was great.
Oh, against Indiana was terrific, yeah.
Oglesby he's a terrific shooter.
6
Yeah.
out of 8 from 3 points.
I mean, he hasn't shot enough.
I know.
I mean, he did
That's
at
right.
Indiana, but prior to that,
Rebounding is the issue.
he would pass.
Oh,
it.
boy,
And his defense needs improvement.
We had 22 rebounds against Indiana.
That's
They
a
had
very nice
39,
way to
but
put it.
20 of them were offensive rebounds.
Yep.
I remember one sequence when they got 4 shots, 4 offensive, well, 1, and then 3 offensive boards. They had 4 shots at the basket.
Oh, those are
Didn't get
killers.
any.
Those are
And then
just-
another time, a couple other times, they had 3 offensive boards in a row.
Indiana
Boom,
had
boom, boom.
37 rebounds in that game. Iowa had 22. That's unable. Just, I don't care how short or tall we are. You have to go after the ball and not allow them to get those offensive rebounds. Oh, man. The laps we would have to run if we gave up offensive rebounds when I was a kid.
They had almost as many offensive rebounds as we had total
Total.
rebounds. They had 20 offensive rebounds in their 37.
Well, Minnesota is 4-5 right now over in the conference.
Yeah,
And overall, they are 16-6. This is not a bad team.
that's right.
We only beat them by 2 points in January. They've got a new starter in Joe Coleman, and he's led the team in scoring ever since they put him in there. So they're going to have their hands full tonight, and it should be interesting. And then on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, Penn State comes to town, and that's going to be an interesting day because it's the 25th anniversary celebration of the Tom Davis 86-87 Hawkeye basketball team that ended up 30-5. First year at Iowa.
Best record ever at Iowa.
Ever. Most wins. And a very exciting team. I know we all have a lot of great memories of that year.
When did Olson coach?
He left here
And Tom Davis.
82. Let's see, 86.
Is that Tom Davis' first year?
1986, 87 was
He left after
Tom's
the
first
82
year.
season, and Raveling came in for the 82-83 season
Right, when
and
he
stayed
was-
3 years. And then Tom came
Okay.
in and was here, what, 12?
Over
17, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it was that
86,
many.
87.
I
His
was
last
thinking 13, maybe.
his last season was 98, 99 or 99, 2000.
Let's see, Alford started in 99, so his last
Yes.
year would have been 98, 99.
That would make it 2000.
Yeah.
Or 13.
We
13 season. Yeah.
Ferentz started in '99 too.
Correct.
I'll be darned.
And when did Lisa Bluter start?
A year.
12th year.
Ah, okay.
And Kirk just completed his 13th, so she would have been the year after. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
12th
Well,
year.
speaking of Lisa Bluter,
Yeah.
the women's basketball team had a really nice game,
Oh,
beating number 13 ranked Purdue.
boy, we needed it too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
and that game
It
didn't
started
start
out ugly, though.
It was bad.
Yeah. It was
I remember
rough.
they were up. Purdue was up 11-3.
Oh,
We played 8 or 9 minutes.
Yeah, it's about
in the
halfway
first
through the
half.
first half.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, we've gone from bad to worse. Actually, we haven't played bad. We've just
Yeah.
lost close games that could have been won.
Yeah.
And we'll see if we go on a run now. We don't play anybody else who's ranked,
No other ranked teams left.
Is that right?
so
Yeah.
the schedule is more favorable.
Yep. They go now. The women will be at tomorrow night. They will be at Wisconsin for a 7 o'clock game. No TV. That's on KXIC.
Okay.
And then the next game is Sunday at
Indiana.
Indiana, and that game will also not be on TV. Joe, how we doing on time? 9 minutes. Okay.
Then the following week we come home for games Thursday night against Minnesota and Sunday afternoon the 12th against Michigan. I want to put a plug in for Midwest One Bank. The 12th, Sunday the 12th is the Go Red for Women game.
Yes.
Midwest One Bank, which has been a big supporter of women's basketball, has purchased 2,500 tickets, which
Is
they're
that Charlie Funk?
literally, yes.
That's Charlie Funk. That's Sue Evans.
Wow.
Sue Evans, Nick Pfeiffer. They're giving away, and literally all you have to do is walk into any Midwest One branch and ask for tickets for that game on Sunday the 12th. Be happy to give them to you.
Wow, 2,500 tickets.
That's a lot.
Anybody else?
Not that day.
Okay.
No.
And
So what's our record, Pat?
the women?
Yeah.
We're now 4-5 in the Big Ten. I think 11-10 overall. That
I'll
sound right?
tell you.
Um,
I'll tell you right now. What we are.
okay.
'Cause I got a newspaper.
12 and 10,
I got a
maybe.
Daily Iowan.
Can I have it?
Yeah,
12.
absolutely. The women are. Boom. It's not here.
I think they won their 12th game when they beat Purdue, maybe.
I can tell you this: Iowa women are 1-7 playing outside of Iowa City.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
0-4 on the road in the Big Ten.
We're due to win
Okay.
some road games then, huh?
Yeah, we have not done well on the road.
So we have how many games left then?
We have 7 Big Ten games left.
Okay.
Again, theoretically, end up 11-5 in the conference. We're very capable of winning the Big Ten tournament.
Yes.
Yep, that's right.
Pretty's on sort of in a slump, isn't she?
Well, she's been off a little. Her three-point shooting is down below 30%, which is unusual for her. But she leads the Big Ten in free throw percentage. She's over 90%
Isn't
free
that
throw
something?
shooting.
Amazing.
The Iowa women are 4th in the country in free throw percentage.
What's their total percentage for the team then?
80.
Think about that. That's just incredible.
Yeah.
It's very good. They've got 4 starters that are over 80.
Well, Johnson came in and did quite well.
Oh, Verge
Huh?
Virgil
played
Johnson. Yeah.
tremendous.
Virginia,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't think we win that game Sunday without
No, she
Virginia
got
Johnson.
she got a hand. She made a free throw and she got a hand.
They put her in when we were struggling.
Yes.
She scored 6 points in about 3 or 4 minutes and
Yes.
got us right back in the game.
Spark
One of
plug.
the things that was interesting about that game, we took the lead toward the end of the first half
Yeah.
and never gave it up. There was only one lead change in the whole game.
And this is the 13th ranked Purdue Boilermakers.
Yes.
That was their
They were
first
undefeated
loss
in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
And
that
they're
right?
Yes.
18-4 overall right now.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
they
aren't
barely
they?
beat Iowa in West Lafayette, and it took, they
Yeah.
beat them.
Took a block shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rayburn blocked Kelly Cry's three-point attempt at buzzer.
Have you seen the replay of the last few minutes of that game?
No.
It's online. That was a real physical game with a lot of strange calls.
You know
for
what
a
I'd
physical game.
What I'd like to see a replay of. They called a technical foul against Purdue on Sunday. They called a double technical foul
with Kelly Cry
against Kelly Cry, who looked to me like she just had a hold of the ball and got slammed to the ground. I couldn't. It was the opposite end from me, but I could see that she did anything.
She
got a
looked so
technical
puzzled.
foul and fouled out.
Yeah,
You know,
it was her 5th foul.
I feel every once in a while that the officials got to go back to school. You know,
Well, it's a tough game to officiate. In fact,
Yeah.
one of the reasons these games, Big Ten men's games, are so low scoring is it's gotten so physical that every time down the court there's pushing and grabbing
Yeah.
and holding. And one of the thoughts that through some of these official minds is, if I'm going to call every foul, we'll never get a basketball game. We'll just be shooting free throws.
That's about right.
But my belief is that if you establish the ground rules at the beginning of the game, if not also the beginning of the second half,
People will know. And
they'll
follow.
get acclimated. They'll get accustomed to how you're going to call it.
Makes sense. Yeah.
One of the things that happens that makes that more difficult is these officials don't work teams
For women,
for either one.
Oh, really?
They get assigned, and the team of 3 that shows up for that night doesn't necessarily work with the other same 2 officials any other time during the season. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But the synergy between a team of 3 officials
Joe.
doesn't ever develop.
Didn't used to be that way, did it, Pat? I mean,
You know, I don't know.
Joe.
I can't remember whether it did or not.
did you watch last night's Michigan State game?
I watched a little bit
Against
of it.
Illinois.
Yeah,
Caught the
they
tail
got beat,
end.
but it was he won 400 games.
Well, he had done that a couple of games before.
Oh, had he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
those shots were replays of like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
We got so emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did that all at Michigan State,
Well, I was
too.
going to lead
Yeah.
up to, is that the game where their best player, the center, hurt his knee?
Last night he got it. Draymond Green
Yeah.
got hurt.
Okay.
Now, I haven't heard today what the injury was. It looked like
It's a leg injury.
he got bumped just below the knee.
I haven't heard anything new about it. But,
Okay.
you know, we're not going to have to play them unless it's in the Big Ten tournament. So, and we still
Don't we
haven't
always
cracked
play
Illinois.
Michigan in the Big Ten tournament?
It seems like it. Real quickly, I want to mention that the Iowa wrestlers finally got back on the winning track and beat number 3 Minnesota last Sunday. It was a very thrilling, close. They have their last home meet, believe it or not, and I hate it. It's always over too soon. This Sunday, Senior Day, 1 p.m. at Carver Hawkeye. The only place to get it is on KXIC radio, just like Hawkeye women's basketball. They're going to say goodbye to 8 seniors on Sunday, including Montel Marion, Blake Raising at heavyweight, and Vinny Wagner. This kid is a med student, Vinny Wagner. He's going to be a doctor. And,
Wow.
also want to mention that Iowa baseball coach Jack Dahm and his team started practice last Friday. And they have their first game on Sunday, February 12th, when they are, I'm sorry, take that back. It's going to be February 17th, and they'll be playing in the Big Ten Big East Challenge. Their first home game is March 21st, and they've got their big annual steak fry, fundraising steak fry for the Iowa baseball team on Sunday, February 12th, out at Bella Sala, and they really do a good job out there. So high school basketball is winding up. The girls only have a couple more games before postseason starts. Regina had a big game last night and really took it to Cedar Rapids Wash. West High girls lost their first game last weekend to Davenport Assumption. And then I forget who'd they kick last night.
Don't know.
I can't remember, but they stomped both the men or both the girls stomped their opponent last night.
Dubuque?
Boys was Dubuque
Yeah.
Senior.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got to wrap it up. We're out of time. Get out there and support girls basketball. Get out there and support the men's basketball team at Iowa, as well as the wrestlers. Next week, you can come support the Iowa women's basketball team. We appreciate you watching every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. and every Sunday at 6 p.m. on Channel 18. You can always catch the show on my Facebook page. But until then, on behalf of Bob Boyd, Matt White, and Earl Murphy, I'm Dirk Keller, thanking you for watching Sports Opinion. And remember, either you're a Hawk or you're not. Go Hawks.
Amen.
I'm not a hawk.
The hell?